Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And since this is Black History Month, I think it is fitting for me to continue to talk about Black Americans' relationship with Black people from other parts of the world because it is complicated and it's not just social media. Social media just amplifies whatever is going on in the greater society. So, Black Americans have often said that Black immigrants feel like they're superior to us with no foundation for it. They just feel that way. So, I want to talk about why they feel superior to Black Americans. So, hold on to your seats. A lot of us are asking why some Black immigrants arrive in the United States with a sense of superiority toward Black Americans. And the answer really is not simple, but it's explainable once you do the research. And this is not about attacking them. This is about us understanding where we are relative to the people who are coming into our country. There are forces that shape the attitudes that these immigrants have long before they get on a plane to come to the United States. Many of them come to the United States with preloaded ideas about Black Americans and who we are. And yes, we've talked about this before. You already know this. They say they get these ideas from American movies and TV, their colonial era education systems, and the local elites who distance themselves from Black Americans because they truly believe they're better or different. So these stereotypes are exported worldwide towards Black Americans. So before some of these immigrants ever meet a Black American, they've already been told a story. And it's usually a negative one. And that doesn't surprise us. So, to a certain extent, it may not be as personal as it is programming. So, when they encounter us with the idea that they already know who we are. It is our responsibility to let people know what time it is. There is nothing wrong with drawing the line in the sand, making it clear that who they think you are is not who you are, and putting them on the right time. There is nothing wrong with that. Because if you don't, they're going to continue with that mindset, and eventually they will get checked. In many of the countries that Black immigrants come from, the school system still carries the fingerprints of colonial rule. Students are taught to admire Europe, to aspire to whiteness, and this is one of the reasons we hear, I know Black, I'm this, I know Black, I'm that, I know Black, I'm the other. They are taught to see themselves as different from or better than Black Americans because we claim Blackness. Black Americans are often portrayed as undisciplined, uneducated, criminal, and culturally inferior. These narratives are not based on reality, as we know. They're based on a colonial hierarchy that places whiteness above everything at the top and Blackness at the bottom. And they survive long after colonizers leave. The colonizers might leave, but the mindset that they programmed into these people remains. And what we have to come to terms with is that, contrary to what Jason Black says about Black Americans, that we are a culture of resistance, they are not. And that's important for us to understand when we're dealing with these people. They don't have a culture of resistance, because if they did, they would stay in their homelands and fight for what's theirs instead of running to another country and trying to claim what belongs to somebody else. I believe that one of the things we might overlook when it comes to Black immigrants, or any immigrants for that matter, is that migration is destabilizing. They leave behind family, status, community, and professional identity if they had one. So when they arrive in a new country where they feel small and insecure, or maybe even invisible, some of them cope by finding a group they believe they can look down on. So people need to feel they're above somebody. And because of global stereotypes, Black Americans become the easiest target. Now, we haven't done anything wrong and we haven't done anything to these people, but they have been told that we are the bottom caste in America. Well, you might call it a bottom caste. We call it what it is, foundational. We are the foundation of this country, and that's well documented. So without the foundation, you don't have a house, you don't have an economy, you don't have a nation. So, yes, they're right about that. We are foundational to the United States of America in every aspect of this country. We are foundational. This might be controversial, but when I see Black immigrants, Africans and Caribbeans, and it's mostly Africans, on these social media platforms talking about Black Americans day in and day out, that is a sign of desperation in a sense. They're trying to make money off Black American stereotypes because platforms do reward the disrespect of other people, the hot takes. They're chasing social media engagement by using the language, the fashion, and everything to do with Black Americans, but they are posturing it with their superior attitude. Still a sign of desperation. We are at, because in fact we are the people that drive the culture. And then they'll start talking about themselves having culture. The problem is we don't ever know what that culture is. They'll start talking about some irrelevant language that has no significance on the world stage. Those languages that they brag about are only spoken within the parameters of those little villages they come from. Their language is not even the national language of their country because they have so many of them that the people who run the country just decide we're just going to use English or French. So many of the immigrants don't get the reality check until much later when they have to come to terms with the fact that Black Americans are not inferior, Black Americans are foundational, Black Americans are the reason the United States became a place people want to immigrate to. Through our civil rights, our voting rights, our labor rights, our housing rights, Black Americans fought for freedoms that benefit everybody who arrives in this country. And immigrants don't learn that history until they get here. So they come here thinking that we are uneducated, lazy, unambitious, and culturally lost. But when they get here, they discover we are highly educated, politically central, culturally dominant, confident, articulate, and deeply rooted in the United States of America. The shock is real because the propaganda collapses instantly. But they have to interact with us and interact with our government. They still think we're enslaved when they get here. They are, one person said, I just saw an interview with a person who said that the immigrants are shocked that Black Americans speak up for themselves and stand on business. In other words, fight back. They're not expecting that. They're expecting us to be worse off than they were in their homeland. Now, some of them come to accept that reality, but some of them continue to push back against it and try to cling to those stereotypes. Because, as I said in another video, it makes them feel safer. But those that don't accept the reality of who we are operating in delusion. So the reason many Black immigrants feel superior to Black Americans is because they come to America with preloaded, stereotypical ideas about Black Americans that they learned back in their homelands. They bring stereotypes from their homelands that tell them, among other things, that Black Americans are at the bottom. But the reality is, Black Americans are the cultural center in America. They also discovered that Black Americans are the reason they can immigrate here at all. Many immigrants didn't know that Black Americans fought for immigration reform, fought for civil rights laws, fought for anti discrimination protections under the 1964 Civil Rights Act, fought for the voting rights that they have in the United States that they don't have in other countries through the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and also fought for fair housing laws that they can come here and get free housing, which was also established under the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So they realize once they get here that Black Americans open the door that they walk through. Now, some of the Black immigrants accept this, they realize this, but there are others who hold on to the stereotypes, maybe because of their insecurity, maybe because they want to feel superior. In spite of what they learn, they still want to feel superior, and maybe because it makes them feel safer. But some of them refuse to accept the fact that Black Americans are the reason that you were able to walk through this immigration door. So it would be helpful if immigrants started learning before they get here that Black Americans are not inferior. We are confident, we are rooted in America, and we know who we are. So that would get us off on the right foot when they get here. So there won't be this learning curve that we both have to go through that can be unpleasant. So we might need to send out a PBA to all African countries so that when they come here, they already know that Black Americans are not the stereotype, we are the standard. Black American culture is global. Black American English is global. Black American music is global. Black American fashion is global. Black American activism is global. Black American technology and innovation is global. We are global. We're not a stereotype by any measure. We're not trying to be like anybody else. We're perfectly comfortable in our own skin. We don't need anybody to define us. And you really don't even have to like us. Just know you are in our homeland. We are foundational to this land. And if you're going to live here, you're going to have to accept that reality at some point. Okay, y'all. Let me know what you think about this video. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful evening.